Hi guys, welcome to my channel. And today I'll be teaching you guys how to do questions related to area between two curves and under a curve. Like the video from last week, this topic was requested by one of my friends, and I figured a lot of my friends are struggling with this topic, so here we are. So we do have some notes to keep in mind. First of all, so it's always when there are two curves and we have to find the area between the two curves, like this one, we see that the curve above is the blue curve and the below is green curve. So we always integrate the graph above minus the graph below. So how do we know if it's below or above? Because this one's above, this one below. So to do this, we have to find the intersection points, the x values of intersection points. So that would be A and B. Zoom in. So in the domain between A and B, for all x values, the blue graph is above the green graph. That's why we integrate the blue one and then minus the integration of the green one. Then we get the equation of this. However, that was the case for two graphs, but what if it's just one graph, like this one? We only have one graph here. Y is fx, but we have two different areas enclosed by the graph and the x-axis. So to do this, we know that this is going to be negative because it's under the x-axis, and that's going to be positive. But can we have a negative area? We can't have a negative area. We have to have a positive area. That's why we minus it, so that minus and minus equals positive. So here we separate the sections. So first we have the graph, the area enclosed by the graph when x is between 0 and a. That's that area. That's that area. And then this area, like I said, is negative. So we have a negative sign in front of it to make it positive. And that area is this area between A and B. A and B. Remember that this has to be the largest one, always. So that's the equation that we have to deal with if it has a negative area too. So it's always better to do the question rather than me just explaining it. So we have the first question. So the first ever step is to find the intercepts to find out which domain we're working with. So to find the intercept, we have to have this equation constructed. So if we solve this, so we know that A is -2 and B is 2. Okay, now we have the intercepts ready. The second step is to figure out which function is above which function. Okay, now we can do this by sketching the graphs. So we sketch the graph. We have the y-axis here and the x-axis here. And we know that this function, when x equals 0, y equals 2. So when x equals 0, y equals 2. Okay. We also know that when y equals 0, x is -2. So when y is 0, x is -2. We know that this graph goes through these 2 points. We just connect these. Okay, and then we're dealing with this graph now. To make this process easier and simpler, this equation can be written as this using reverse FOIL. Now we know that the x-intercepts are x equals -2 and x equals 1. So we have here and here. And we know that x is 2, these two graphs intercept. So we have 4. So when this is 2, this is 4, and these graphs intercept here. And to find the y-intercept, we have to have 0, 0, -2, that's -2. So that's -2. So we can sketch something like this and that. And we're only interested in the area between when x is -2 and when x is 2. This domain, so that's only here. Well, that's kind of wrong, but so now we know that this graph is above this graph for all x values from -2 to 2. So now we can construct the equation using this one and this one. Hence, the equation for the area between the curves like that. And then from here, it's just simple integration. So if I do it manually, this is what you would do, and you end up with this answer. So this is what you would do. So the next question, what if it has three separate areas that are some are positive and some are negative? Like I said, we're using this concept now. Because areas cannot be negative, we have a special equation like this one. We're talking about this example because this part is negative, area is going to be divided into three different parts, and that will be the answer. Just always remember that area cannot be negative, so if it's a negative, you have to put a negative sign in front of it to make it positive. Thank you guys for watching the video today, and I hope it helped.